is Ryan over at Turbo 360 for part 8 of our Yelp clone series. I think we're on part 8. Getting lost in the numbers. But last time we got this this map here working, and if you remember, we did this find one method on our server, which maps to our MongoDB here. We have these 25,000 restaurants, and find one randomly is retrieving one for us, which you can see right here. And we get these coordinates back and we plot them on the map. So if you go down here, and for some reason the Google Maps on the simulator is very slow, and we are getting this something went wrong error, which we're going to have to fix. But for now, oh, I think my server's offline actually, so hold on. Let me just start that up with Turbo Dev server. Alright, so now if we drag this, hopefully we don't get an error. Alright, and look, there's our one restaurant. And if you remember here, this restaurant is just random with find one. Now what we want to do is each time we move the map, you see these query parameters where we set up to pass in? We want to take those and construct a polygon, which for us is going to be square, and then we're going to take the square based on those coordinates and pass it to the backend, to our database, which we seeded with those 25,000 restaurants, and return all the restaurants. Now, I couldn't find too much Mongoose documentation on setting up this query, so I got it working, and I do have I actually spent, this is probably the most time I've spent preparing for a video, just because the query itself is a little odd, but now that I got it, it's fine. But so I might cheat every once in a while and look at some code I've commented out. I don't want to waste too much time debugging, so I just want to give that as a disclaimer, because I always say, oh, I'll make mistakes and debug live, because that's how you learn. This part I did look up ahead of time, so disclaimer for all you guys watching. But the one thing we haven't figured out though is, like, New York is pretty dense. I'm wondering if I just, drag this and I get all these restaurants, what's going to happen? Can the phone handle it? Can the server handle it? And those are like the real life problems that you guys will kind of run into as you're programming. So that's going to be something interesting that we are going to have to deal with. I basically just made sure the query worked, because I do mostly front end and mobile stuff. I don't do too much like back end work, so that's why I did that part. We are going to have to deal with this issue, or who knows, maybe we'll just return 1,000 restaurants and we'll plot them all, but I don't think that's going to be that easy. So fun things to look forward to. Again, just to give a quick refresher, if you go back to your app in your map.js file, we have here this query, which is stringifying our region, and this region is created, I'm trying to find where I created it, on this callback on this map view on region change complete. So when we do that, we're basically researching, and that's another thing we might have to optimize later. Do we want to search every time? Do we want to hash our results? It's going to be a little tricky, because it's not just like, did we already get this, did we already search for this page, right? Like pagination, we know if we did or not. It's a little trickier because it's kind of like a geographical region. Can we even handle that client side or not? So those are some interesting things we're going to have to kind of figure out. So anyway, those coordinates that we get on the drag, if we jump back here, you'll see. Oh, let me expand all this for you guys. Sorry. You'll see here we have a latitude 40, a latitude delta of 0.08, and then a longitude delta. And I don't know if we're latitude, delta, longitude. For For some reason, maybe my screen's up. I don't see the longitude, but it's right here, so we must have it here because I'm logging our query. So basically, that we get a point, this latitude and longitude, and then the delta is we're going to have to add to that to kind of get our screen limits, and I think that's how it works. So, and just to get started, I'll just show you guys kind of what the query looks like, and I made some dummy data last time, so you don't have to. Don't type this, just I just want to show you what I was talking about. So I just made these coordinates here, which are similar but not quite exact. And let me just do this. If you look here, I'm going to refresh this. See how it kind of hangs up for a second. So I don't know what these coordinates are, and they're pretty small. Like if you look, I just did like this value is 0.03 difference here. Like there should be pretty small values. We got 1,200 restaurants, so we're gonna have to, like, we could have a problem, is my point. But I'm gonna undo that. All right, so the first thing we need to do is construct these coordinates, and just like I have them down here. So basically we have this latitude, longitude, latitude delta, longitude delta, right? So I'm trying to think. So basically, I wish I had like somewhere I could draw, but so basically Mongo wants us to create a polygon by giving it some points. So our screen has 4 sides, right? I don't think my hand signals are that helpful, but like here we have these 4 sides, right? I forgot you guys could see the screen. So it's going to be 0.1. This is going to be 0.2. This is going to be 0.3. This is going to be 0.4, and then we have to close the shape because it doesn't know it's a square. You could have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we need 5 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Back to the start. And for some reason, we need to, well, the first and last points are the same, so that's easy. But for some reason, we need to put it in an array of arrays. So that was kind of one of the parts that caught me up. So basically, let's say you had to do a square, and you had an inner square that wasn't included or something. So you can do like arrays of arrays and all sorts of weird stuff, but that's beyond our scope or interest. So I'm just gonna get started, and I want to construct this this polygon. So again, I'm cheating, I will admit. You can call this whatever you want, but you need to pass in this type polygon because there's different kinds of geo queries you can do. And then this is the part that was tripping me up, is we need this array of arrays. So it's an array, and then in here we need our 5 points. So going to do this so you guys can, I'm trying to illustrate like how we come up with this polygon. So this is 2, 3, 4, and so that's lat long, I think. Yeah, so we have to go long for if you look here at our old query here, have this 70 followed by 40, that's actually longitude comma latitude. So that's the way that Mongo likes it, and most are used to saying like latitude and longitude. We have to reverse it, so that's the other kind of tricky part. So let's just start with our first coordinate, and what I'm going to do is we have this latitude, right? Oops. Up into New York. This is where our map starts, so we'll know right away. But here, so our latitude is, and you guys should be logging this so you can grab it. 40 point some crazy number. I'm going to grab that whole thing. And what I'm going to do is say, let's just grab all these variables. So I'm going to say const latitude, longitude, because I don't want to really be referencing these numbers. So latitude, longitude, latitude, delta, longitude, delta equals rec.query, and again that's the shorthand for rec.query.this. So let's do that. And so our first coordinate here, sorry, my editor, let's do this so you guys can actually see. So my first coordinate is just going to be my latitude and my longitude. So I'm going to come in here, and remember, each one of these is another array. It's still confusing. So let's do latitude, longitude. And I'm going to try to do it with these values before we have to use the numbers. That's like my fallback troubleshooting. For now, I'm going to try to actually just go for it. So latitude, longitude, that's the easy one. And this is what I was saying before, is the first and the fifth one are going to be the same, because we need to complete the square. So let's come down here. And coordinates. Okay, so we got 2 out of 5 done already, so that's pretty easy, right? Okay, so just pretend like we're back in like high school math class. And by the way, I'm not sure. We might be like, I'm just assuming we're starting at this corner. Well, I'm assuming we're starting at this corner, actually. It could end up being some other corner, or we have to kind of figure it out. But for now, let's just pretend we're here. And you have like your y-axis and your x-axis. So if you just start like right here, remember this is going to be x equals 0, right? Or x equals latitude, our starting point. And then we know the amount that it changes, our delta, right? So our second point, and by the way, we got this backwards, sorry. It's going to be longitude, comma, latitude, remember. But anyway, so we have this one value here, right? Basically, what I'm trying to demonstrate is like if you were on your x, y axis, right? Here, x is equal 0, y is equal 0. And you want to go all the way up here. You change the y, but not the x. You change that one side. And the same here. If you go from here to here, your x is going to change and your y is going to be 0. So let's just do those 2 points quick. So that's going to be 2 and 4. So the first one is going to be longitude or latitude. Doesn't really matter. I think latitude is left to right. So let's just do longitude, and then latitude is going to be latitude plus latitude delta, right? And then this one is going to be the opposite. So we're going to say let me get rid of these comments too. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so longitude and then latitude plus the delta, and then down here, remember this our point here is going to be the opposite. It's going to be longitude plus longitude delta and latitude. So you see here we have this first and fifth point are the same. These are like the same idea, and then here is the one missing point is going to be this, the 2 extremes. So you see how we're kind of just, you don't even have to know what these values are, but just pretend longitude and latitude are like starting points. So we start here, then we say, hey, for the next one, let's increase our latitude. So that's going to go to here. Then we say, hey, let's increase our latitude and our longitude. So go up to here. And they say, hey, let's go back to that original latitude, but increase our longitude. That's here. And then all the way back to the beginning. So we have our 5 points. So that seems good, but you're going to, as you know, like, you never really know what's good or not. So we have our query here. I'm going to leave this stuff. Okay, so let's just do our actual query. Find. So this is the part I am cheating. Find where. Okay, so this location references that. Let me just go back here. Let's just click a random model. So we have these location coordinates here, right? That's what this location key is referencing. So it's basically just taking our keys and seeing if these fall in between. So find where location within, and let's pass in our geo here. And this tooltip is giving us nice defines a within or geo within argument. So that is what I've been looking for, this geo within query. So this should be good, within geo. And then we do this exec, which means execute function, or execute query, function, error. I'm going to call this restaurants. A little callback, and I'm just going to check the old one, make sure we're, we're in ES5 now. Okay. Location within geo. Find where. Okay, so this looks good. Let's just do our standard, handle our standard request. If our error, log the error. By the way, I'm going to be shocked if this works, but every once in a while you get a little bit of luck. And else I'm going to say res.json. So if this works, I'm expecting to see like 5,000 results or something. Data is going to be these restaurants from our callback here. And then we're going to return. So let's just give this a try. Our server's still running. That's a good sign, right? So technically, once I drag this, it should go through. I don't know if I'm logging any sort of responses here, though. So, well, something went wrong, right? So let's see what went wrong. Mode is not okay. So module.find. All right. So we just mistyped our variable, so we didn't even get to our query. So something went wrong, but what does this say? Okay, so right now it's adding our, if you can see here, cast to number failed for 40.78, etc. We need to make sure that we turn these to back to coordinates. So you see here, these are pure numbers. So I'm trying to think. We're probably sending them. Are we sending them across as strings? Well, I think it's automatically a string from the query string. So we need to turn them into numbers. So, and I'm wondering how many of these digits we need. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Math parse float. Let's try to see if we can cut off these strings. All right, I'm just gonna let's just start with these coordinates. So we're gonna have to parse these, right? There's probably a better way to loop through these, but basically right now we have these strings. We need to turn them to a floating point number. So we can do some math. All right, I'm just going to do this. Let latitude equal parse float. I was trying to look before if we need a like a number of digits, but for now I'm just going to do this and see what happens. So I'll be surprised if this works, but as always, let's give it a try. See if we're crashing or not. Oh, sorry, we don't need these lefts. We already... So something went wrong. The interesting thing is I'm not getting error here, so I wonder if we're timing out or maybe it was success. Because look, these are also huge response times. So what I'm going to do is take these coordinates right here. And I just want to throw them in the browser, see what happens. So latitude, delta. Okay. I'm going to say, instead of rec.query here, I'm just going to paste in this object. So these should assign themselves. And let's just jump to the browser and see if this is working. All right, so it's working. And how many places did we get back? 3,000 places. So first, before, we were just getting one restaurant. So maybe we're just setting that restaurant on the client side, and that was our error. But right now in the browser, this is working. So that is pretty neat. Let's make sure, let's try to plot them on this side. And again, I think it's going to crash, but let's see if our thing is working. And I'm going to get this back to our query for a second. And let's go back to our iPhone side, or whatever, our mobile side. And then like here we say console log loc. Okay, so this was just giving back one before. So let's just check our browser. We're logging this. Let's see if we got like a million locations back, or it timed out, or oh look, we have an array here of 3,600 things, so it is working, right? So data. So let's just set that whole array to our markers. Well, the one thing that I'm noticing is we have this lat long backwards issue, so we gotta flip that quick. So we're getting all the places back, which is good. But again, our coordinates here are flipped from what we were using on the iPhone side. So let's just do this. Dot data. We have to do dot data for each. I think we're gonna make a loop. Response dot data is gonna be an array. So for each. It's pretty similar to what we're doing here. Before we only had one. So let's just try response JSON.data for each location. We're gonna make an array here called markers. Oh, we already have one here. Let's move this up top. So we need this array. Let new markers. This does date.markers. I don't really care about these ones. I'm just going to make a new one. So we're going to make a new array. And for each location, we're going to do this. Loc equals response. So if we have this all keyed correctly, which I'm hoping we do, like here we have response JSON.data, we just got rid of that because we're iterating through for each instance. Title, new markers.push. All right, let's give that a try. I mean, well, my computer's going crazy right now, but by the way, the console log stuff actually like greatly slows down your application. So I don't think that's our issue here, but something went wrong. Okay, so we got to the first one and then something went wrong, right? So, well, we make our call, right? And we don't get to this point. So new markers. I'm just going to throw a console log in here, because this will be our success. So we can at least see if at what point we get our error. $79. Okay, so as of 79, we're getting some logs. So let's get rid of that part here, this log. We don't want that. So we are getting a success, right? I think that our app might not be able to handle it, but let's see. Because look, we have these here. We're getting success, city diner. We're getting to 3844. So 38, we're definitely getting success. And then here where we say for each log the location. Um, So I'm not getting this log here, so it doesn't like something here. So location dot coordinates. All right, guys, we're almost there. Makes it much more difficult to debug when everything goes so slow. Okay, so that's undefined. Are we just keyed off one level? Let me just JSON stringify this. That might be our issue. That'll be embarrassing, but I'm just going to do a stringify our location. Okay, we need another key here. So this location here is a bad naming for each, I'm going to say restaurant. And here we have to say restaurant dot location. We're just off a level with our keys here. And then this one should be fine. This title is just going to be restaurant dot name. All right, let's give that a try. Hoping the fact that my thing seems like it's going to explode is like a good sign, but oh, check it out. So the good news is I'm going to end the video here because my computer's going to okay, so look, we got all these restaurants, which is good, but what do you notice? Have any ideas? Also researching, so my computer's probably about to crash. So I'm gonna shut this down in a second. But if you notice, we have nothing on like the lower half, right? So our delta is kind of off. One thing I'm wondering is, see how we're all in this 1/4 each time I drag? I'm gonna stop dragging. But see how we're in this quarter? Perhaps our delta is a width, and we're adding. I mean to offset it by half on each side. So we'll do that in the next video, but the good news is our query is working. Like, look at all this that I'll do one more drag just to see. We really should test this on a real device, see how it holds up, but it's not going to hold up. It's returning way too much. Like, look at this. I mean, it's pretty cool, but so these are all being returned from our database. The problem is, one, we have to adjust our query. See, like right here is like a clear, see it's in this one quadrant only. So my guess is we need to, that's like a width, and we're not starting from quarter, and that our latitude longitude is the center. So we need to fix that, and then we need to come up with some method to kind of filter through these, or how we want to handle this, because this is not going to be performant, but we'll get to that in the next video. Again, now we got our geo query working based on our screen confines. It's pretty neat. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. We got to come up with some some improvements and some performance solutions for this.